There is a reason the strongest warriors do not announce their battles. There is a reason the wisest men do not reveal their every thought. There is a reason the most powerful kings do not share their strategies with the crowd. Because the more people know about you, the more control they have over you. Some of you wonder why betrayal follows you, why your dreams fall apart before they begin, why you feel surrounded by opposition at every turn. The answer is simple. You have given too many people access to your life. You have handed over your plans, your struggles, your weaknesses like an open book, and now you wonder why your enemies seem to know your every move. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not everyone who listens to you cares about your well-being. Some only seek to know you so they can use that knowledge against you. Today, I am here to tell you one truth that will change the way you live. Do not let people know too much about you. If you want to move in strength, if you want to walk in wisdom, if you want to protect what is sacred in your life, then you must learn the power of silence. Listen carefully, because what I am about to say may be the difference between a life of wisdom and a life of regret. There is a reason why the strongest men in history have always understood the power of mystery. The less people know about you, the more they are forced to wonder. The more they wonder, the less they can predict. And the less they can predict, the less control they have over you. This is why the wisest do not waste their words. They do not seek validation. They do not feel the need to be understood by all. Instead, they walk in silence, moving with purpose, speaking only when necessary, and never revealing more than what is required. Some of you have made the mistake of believing that openness is always a virtue, that telling people everything about yourself somehow proves honesty or builds trust. But let me tell you something. Not everyone deserves to know you. Not everyone who listens to you does so with good intentions. Some people are taking notes on your life not because they admire you, not because they respect you, but because they are looking for weaknesses. They are looking for patterns. They are looking for an opportunity. The moment you make yourself an open book, you invite hands to turn your pages, to rewrite your story, to twist your words, to expose your struggles. You think you are sharing your life, but what you are really doing is arming the wrong people with the very weapons they will use against you. And it is always when you least expect it, always when you are most vulnerable, that those words you once spoke in confidence will come back as an attack. That those secrets you once revealed in trust will return as betrayal. How many times have you spoken too soon and later regretted it? How many times have you trusted someone only to realize they never truly valued that trust? You see, people do not always listen to understand. Sometimes they listen to you. They listen to measure you, to size you up, to determine how much of a threat you are. And if they find something in you that can be used against you, they will use it. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but when the time comes, you will see it. Some of you share your plans too quickly, and then you wonder why nothing works out. Some of you reveal your struggles too easily, and then you wonder why people treat you differently. Some of you explain yourselves too much, and then you wonder why no one respects you. The problem is not always them. Sometimes the problem is that you have given away too much of yourself. You have made yourself predictable, and when you are predictable, you are controllable. The enemy does not need to attack you directly if he can make you destroy yourself. If he can convince you to open your mouth too soon, to share your dreams with the wrong people, to expose your weaknesses in the wrong places, then he does not need to do anything else, because you have already done his work for him. There is a power in being unknown. There is a strength in being underestimated. When people do not know your next move, they cannot block it. When they do not know your weaknesses, they cannot exploit them. When they do not know what you are thinking, they cannot manipulate you. This is why the greatest warriors do not announce their battles. They strike when the time is right. They move in silence. Some of you need to learn the discipline of silence. You need to understand that your words should be valuable, not cheap. When you speak, let it be with weight. Let it be with wisdom. Let it be necessary. But do not speak just to be heard. Do not explain yourself to those who do not deserve an explanation. Do not waste your energy trying to be understood by those who were never meant to understand you. You do not need to post everything. You do not need to tell everyone what you are doing, where you are going, what you are planning. Some of you are fighting battles you were never meant to fight simply because you exposed your position too soon. You were meant to succeed quietly, but you spoke too loudly, and now the opposition has been alerted. You were meant to heal in silence, but you told the wrong people, and now they remind you of your wounds instead of helping you recover. There is wisdom in discretion. There is wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. When people do not know everything about you, they can only assume. An assumption is weak compared to certainty. Assumption keeps them guessing. Assumption keeps you in control, but certainty hands them the advantage. Certainty gives them the power. Walk with mystery. Let them wonder. Let them talk. Let them assume, but do not let them know, because the moment they know too much is the moment you lose your power. Speak less, move wisely, and let your silence be your strength. There is a reason you are told to guard your heart. Because your heart is not just a place of emotions. It is the center of your being. It is where your desires live, where your fears hide, where your dreams take root. And if you allow the wrong people access to it, they will trample on it. They will take what is sacred and make it common. They will take what is pure and stain it with their intentions. Some of you have suffered deeply, not because you did something wrong, but because you let the wrong people get too close. You trusted too quickly. You confided too easily. You handed over your heart without testing their hands first. And now you carry wounds that were never meant to be there. Wounds from people who were never meant to know you that deeply. Not everyone is your friend. I know that sounds harsh. I know you want to believe the best in people. But the truth is, some people are not looking to walk with you. They are looking to walk over you. Some are not looking to build with you, they are looking to take from you. And if you do not learn to guard your heart, you will keep giving it away to those who were never meant to hold it. You must understand this. People will take what you give them. If you lay your emotions bare, they will take advantage of them. If you expose your weaknesses, they will use them. If you share your deepest struggles with the wrong ears, those struggles will one day be spoken back to you as insults. Some of you have already seen this happen. You trusted someone with your pain, and now they remind you of it every chance they get. You opened up about your failures, and now they whisper them to others behind your back. Why? Because not everyone is meant to know you that deeply. There are parts of your heart that should be guarded, protected, hidden from those who do not value them. You do not put priceless treasures in the hands of careless people. You do not cast pearls before swine. And yet some of you are doing just that with your heart, with your emotions, with your dreams. There is a reason why the strongest people do not always speak about what they are going through. It is not because they have no struggles. It is not because they feel no pain. It is because they understand that not everyone deserves to carry their burdens with them. They understand that their heart is too precious to be handled carelessly. They understand that their emotions, their desires, their weaknesses, and their hopes must be guarded, not hidden out of fear, but protected out of wisdom. And do not think for a second that betrayal only comes from enemies. Sometimes it comes from those who smiled at you. Sometimes it comes from those who held your hand. Sometimes it comes from those who once called you friend. The closer they are, the more damage they can do. That is why you must not only be careful with your enemies, you must be careful with those you call friends. Some of you are too open with people simply because they listen. But not everyone who listens cares. Some listen to learn about you, not to understand, not to support, but to gain knowledge they can use later. They will act like they are there for you. They will nod, they will sympathize, they will agree, but one day, when the time is right, they will use what they know to hurt you. They will remind you of what you told them in moments of weakness. They will twist your words. They will manipulate your trust. And in that moment, you will realize you should have guarded your heart. That does not mean you walk through life without trusting anyone. That does not mean you build walls so high that no one can reach you. It means you move with wisdom. It means you test people before you trust them. It means you let people earn their way into your heart instead of handing them the key the moment they ask for it. Think about this. When you have something valuable, you do not leave it exposed. You protect it. You place it somewhere safe. You make sure that only the right people have access to it. If you do this with your possessions, how much more should you do it with your heart? Some of you need to learn to be silent in your struggles, not because suffering alone is noble, but because not every ear that listens is a safe place. Some of you need to be careful with who you allow to know your plans, not because planning in private is magical, but because revealing too much to the wrong people will bring unnecessary resistance. Some of you need to stop explaining yourself to everyone, not because you do not owe people accountability, but because you do not owe an explanation to those who were never meant to understand you in the first place. There is strength in guarding your heart. There is wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to be silent. There is power in being selective with who you trust. And if you do not learn this, if you do not apply this, you will continue to suffer betrayals that could have been avoided, heartbreaks that could have been prevented, and disappointments that were never meant to be yours. Guard your heart, because if you do not, no one else will. Not everyone deserves to know you. That is not arrogance, that is wisdom. There are people in this world who will smile at you, walk with you, even pray with you, yet their hearts do not truly belong to you. Some people are drawn to you not because they love you, not because they value you, but because they are curious. They want to know your business. They want to understand your thoughts. They want access, not because they plan to protect you, but because they want to control you. And if you are not discerning, you will let them in. Some of you have spent your lives giving the wrong people access to your soul. You have allowed manipulators to sit at your table. You have allowed deceivers to walk beside you as friends. And now you wonder why your life is filled with conflict, why your name is always in someone else's mouth, why the things you once spoke in confidence have now been twisted and used against you. It is because you did not discern who you could trust. You need to understand this. Trust is not something you hand out freely. It is something that must be earned. Too many people think that because someone listens to them, that person cares. That because someone is nice to them, that person is their friend. But kindness can be a mask. Interest can be a strategy. And some of you are surrounded by people who do not love you. They only love the access you have given them. You must be careful. There are those who will celebrate you in public but despise you in private. They will clap for you while secretly hoping you fail. They will act like they support you, but only because they want to stay close enough to benefit from you. And if you cannot discern the difference between those who truly love you and those who are simply using you, then you will spend your life surrounded by enemies disguised as friends. Look at the people around you. Some of them are not there because they belong. They are there because you have not had the wisdom to remove them. Some of them are not truly for you. They are just waiting to see if you rise or fall. And the moment you stumble, the moment you struggle, you will see their true colors, because the ones who love you will help you get back up, but the ones who were only pretending will step back, will disappear, or worse, they will step on you. You need to be intentional about who you trust. Trust is not something you give to someone just because they ask for it. Trust is not something you extend to everyone who is nice to you. Trust must be tested. It must be proven. And until someone has shown you through time, through consistency, through integrity, that they are worthy of that trust, you have no obligation to give it to them. Some of you are suffering right now because you trusted too quickly. You let someone into your life, you opened up your heart, you shared your struggles, your dreams, your weaknesses, and now that person has turned against you. They have walked away, or they have betrayed you, or they have used what they knew to manipulate you, and now you feel the pain of misplaced trust. But do not let that pain make you bitter. Let it make you wiser. Let it teach you to be discerning. Let it show you that not everyone who smiles at you is for you, that not everyone who asks about your life actually cares about your life, that not everyone who stands beside you is actually standing with you. You do not need 1,000 friends. You do not need everyone to like you. You need a few who are real, a few who are solid, a few who will walk with you, not only in times of success, but in times of failure. You need people who will protect your name when you are not in the room, who will cover you in prayer instead of covering you in gossip, who will hold you accountable because they love you, not because they want to control you. And if you cannot find such people, then it is better to walk alone for a while than to walk with the wrong company, because the wrong company will cost you more than loneliness ever will. The wrong company will drain you. The wrong company will confuse you. The wrong company will lead you into battles you were never meant to fight. Some of you have surrounded yourselves with people who keep you weak, people who encourage your bad habits, people who never challenge you to grow, people who love your dysfunction because it keeps you on their level. And you wonder why you feel stuck. It is because you are connected to those who do not want to see you rise. You need to be ruthless about who you allow into your life, not because you are better than others, but because your heart is too valuable to be handled carelessly. Your time is too precious to be wasted on people who do not truly care for you. Your energy is too important to be drained by those who only take but never give. There are people who were meant to walk with you for a season, not a lifetime. There are people who were meant to be acquaintances, not inner circle friends. And the sooner you learn to discern the difference, the sooner you will find peace. It is not cruel to be selective with your trust, it is necessary. It is not mean to set boundaries, it is wisdom. It is not selfish to protect your heart, it is survival. Because the wrong people will cost you more than you can afford to lose. Choose wisely, because who you trust will determine the direction of your life. Words are powerful. They build, they destroy, they inspire, they betray. A single word can turn a friend into an enemy. A single sentence can open doors or close them forever. What you say today may be the very thing that is used against you tomorrow. And yet so many speak carelessly, revealing too much, sharing too soon, trusting too easily, only to find themselves trapped by the very words they once spoke in confidence. You must understand that not everyone who listens to you has good intentions. There are those who will smile as they gather information, nod as they take mental notes, and pretend to care while secretly waiting for the right time to use what they have learned against you. Some do it out of jealousy, some do it for control, some do it simply because they enjoy watching others fall, and the most dangerous ones, they do it while pretending to be your friend. How many times have you confided in someone only to hear your own words repeated back to you in a way you never intended? How many times have you spoken in a moment of weakness, only to have that weakness thrown in your face later? That is because words can become weapons in the hands of the wrong people. The enemy does not always attack with swords. Sometimes he attacks with conversations. He uses whispers to destroy reputations. He uses gossip to kill relationships. He takes what you said in honesty and turns it into ammunition for deceit. And it is not just enemies you need to worry about. Even well-meaning people can be careless. Some will repeat what you told them, not out of malice, but out of ignorance. They will share your secrets because they do not understand the weight of them. They will expose your struggles because they do not see the damage it will cause. But whether intentional or not, the result is the same. Your words are no longer your own. Some of you are struggling right now, not because of what others did, but because of what you said. You were too open. You revealed too much. You trusted the wrong person, and now you are dealing with the consequences. And the worst part, you cannot take it back. Once words are spoken, they cannot be erased. Once they leave your mouth, they are no longer in your control. That is why the wise are careful with their speech. They do not reveal everything they think. They do not feel the need to explain themselves to everyone. They do not hand over their thoughts, their struggles, their plans so easily. Instead, they choose their words with precision, speaking only when necessary and only to those who have proven to be worthy of trust. Some of you talk too much, not because you are careless, but because you crave validation. You want people to understand you. You want them to see your perspective. But let me tell you something. Not everyone deserves to understand you. Not everyone is worthy of knowing your side of the story. Some are only pretending to listen so they can find a way to twist your words later. You do not need to explain yourself to people who have already decided to misunderstand you. You do not need to defend yourself to those who have no interest in the truth. Speak when it is wise, speak when it is necessary, but do not speak just to be heard, because every unnecessary word you say is another opportunity for someone to use it against you. There is strength in silence. There is power in discretion. There is wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. Some of the greatest battles are won not with loud arguments, but with quiet strategy. Some of the greatest victories come not from proving a point, but from refusing to engage in meaningless conversations. You do not have to respond to everything. You do not have to correct every misunderstanding. You do not have to reveal your plans before they are ready. Some of you have lost opportunities because you spoke too soon. You told people what you were working on before it was finished, and they found a way to sabotage it. You shared your dreams with those who had no faith in them, and their doubt became a weight on your shoulders. You gave too much information, and instead of receiving support, you received opposition. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. There is a reason why strong men do not announce their every move. There is a reason why kings do not reveal their plans before the battle begins. There is a reason why those who are truly wise listen more than they speak, because they understand that words can be dangerous, that the wrong information in the wrong hands can destroy everything. Some of you need to learn to be quiet. Not because you have nothing to say, but because what you have to say is too valuable to be wasted on the wrong ears. Some of you need to stop seeking approval from people who do not have your best interests at heart. Some of you need to stop giving explanations to those who have already made up their minds about you. Speak with purpose, speak with wisdom. Speak only when necessary, and when in doubt, stay silent. Because the less you say, the less they can use against you. You do not owe everyone an explanation. You do not have to justify yourself to people who have already decided what they think about you. Some of you are exhausted, not because of the work you do, but because of the endless effort you put into explaining yourself to people who do not even deserve to know your side of the story. You spend too much time defending yourself to those who have no interest in truth. You waste too much energy trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Let me tell you something. No matter how much you explain, some people will still twist your words. No matter how clearly you speak, some will still hear what they want to hear. No matter how honest you are, there will always be those who choose to believe a lie. And if you live your life trying to fix every false perception, trying to correct every misunderstanding, you will never have peace. Some of you are walking through life weighed down by the opinions of people who were never meant to have a voice in your story. You are too focused on trying to control what others think of you. You are too concerned with making sure no one gets the wrong idea. But let me tell you the truth. There will always be people who get the wrong idea. There will always be those who believe things about you that are not true. And that is not your problem to fix. The moment you try to please everyone, you have already lost yourself. The moment you live for the approval of others, you have given them control over your life. And some of you are living in that prison right now. Afraid to move forward because of what they will say, afraid to stand firm because of what they will assume, afraid to walk in confidence because someone might misunderstand. But the truth is, no matter what you do, someone will always have something to say. You must understand there is freedom in being misunderstood. There is peace in realizing that you do not need to explain yourself to everyone. There is power in silence. Some of you have wasted years of your life trying to make sure people know your true intentions, trying to prove your innocence, trying to clear your name. But there are people who will never accept the truth, no matter how well you explain it. There are people who will continue to twist your words, no matter how carefully you speak. And there are people who will spread lies about you, no matter how honest you are. If you are always explaining yourself, you will always be on the defensive. And when you are on the defensive, you are not moving forward. You are only reacting. And some of you need to stop reacting. You need to stop answering to people who have no authority over your life. You need to stop trying to fix every false rumor. You need to stop running around trying to change the opinions of those who have already decided not to like you. Not everyone needs to know your motives. Not everyone deserves to hear your reasons. Not everyone is owed an explanation. Some people question you not because they want clarity, but because they want control. Some demand explanations not because they care about truth, but because they want to keep you uncertain. They want to keep you justifying yourself. They want to keep you in a place of weakness where you are always trying to prove yourself. You do not owe them that. You do not owe an explanation to those who only ask questions so they can use your answers against you. You do not owe a defense to those who have already made up their mind. You do not owe your energy to those who have shown that they have no interest in seeing you win. Some of you are losing time, precious time, because you are trying to change the minds of people who were never meant to understand you. You are trying to make people see your worth when their blindness is not your responsibility. You are trying to convince people of your integrity when their doubt has nothing to do with your truth and everything to do with their own issues. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them think what they want. You do not have to correct them. You do not have to defend yourself against every rumor. You do not have to argue with those who are committed to misunderstanding you, because at the end of the day, truth will stand. And if you keep living in a way that is honorable, if you keep walking in wisdom, if you keep focusing on what matters, the truth will speak for itself. Do not waste another moment explaining yourself to those who have no ears to hear. Walk in silence. Move in confidence, and let your life speak louder than your words. There is something dangerous about needing to be seen, about needing to be known. Some of you live your lives constantly putting everything on display, your victories, your struggles, your plans, your failures. Because you believe that if people know what you are doing, if they see your progress, then they will respect you, then they will support you, then they will finally understand you. But that is a lie. Not everyone who sees you wants you to succeed. Not everyone who listens to you wants to understand. Some are only watching so they can find a way to pull you down. You must understand that secrecy is not weakness, it is wisdom. There are things in your life that must be protected. There are dreams that should not be shared. There are battles that must be fought in silence. Some of you are losing before you even begin because you reveal too much too soon to the wrong people. You speak before the foundation is laid. You announce before the work is done. You expose your plans before they have time to grow roots. And then you wonder why you face so much opposition, why you feel so much resistance, why doors that should have opened remain shut. Some of the people you think are cheering for you are only collecting information. They smile in your presence, they ask about your plans, they pretend to support you, but the moment they leave, they start plotting, they find ways to sabotage you, they take what you have said in confidence and spread it to others who have no business knowing. And before you even realize it, you are fighting unnecessary battles, you are facing attacks that could have been avoided, all because you trusted the wrong ears with your words. You do not need to announce everything you do. Let your success be your announcement. Let your results speak for you. Some of you struggle with silence because you fear being overlooked, you fear being forgotten. But hear me, if what you are doing is truly valuable, if what you are building is truly meant to last, then time will reveal it. You do not need to make noise to prove your worth. The strongest trees do not grow overnight, and they do not make a sound as they take root. But when they stand, when they rise, when they reach full strength, they cannot be ignored. Some of you are in a season where you need to be hidden. You need to work in the dark. You need to build without announcing. You need to move in silence, not because you are afraid, but because what you are building is too important to be exposed to the wrong eyes. There is a reason why treasures are kept in vaults, why the most valuable things are not left out in the open. Because what is exposed is vulnerable. And some of you have made yourselves vulnerable to attacks that were never meant to touch you, simply because you spoke too soon. There's a difference between transparency and wisdom. Transparency says, let me show you everything, let me tell you everything, let me expose everything. Wisdom says, let me reveal what is necessary, let me protect what is sacred, let me move carefully. Some of you need to stop mistaking recklessness for honesty. Not everyone is worthy of your truth. Not everyone deserves to know your next move. Not everyone is meant to walk with you to where you are going. Some of you are delaying your own progress because you are too focused on being seen. You care too much about what others think. You care too much about making sure people notice you. But real power is not in being seen. It is in being effective. It is in moving with strategy. It is in building something that lasts. Something that does not need public approval to be real. Some of the most powerful moves are made in silence. Some of the greatest shifts happen behind closed doors. And some of the most dangerous men are the ones you never see coming. Stop giving your enemies an advantage. Stop making their job easy. Some of you are fighting battles that could have been avoided, dealing with obstacles that should never have been there simply because you revealed too much. It is time to move differently. It is time to stop seeking validation from people who do not care about your success. It is time to build in silence, to fight in silence, to prepare in silence, so that when you rise, there is nothing they can do to stop you. You do not need to be seen. You do not need to be heard. You need to be focused. You need to be strategic. You need to be wise. Because those who make the most noise are not always the ones who win. But those who move with wisdom, they cannot be stopped.